All right, welcome.
The last story I want to cover here, moving on, another national story. I predicted it. I said it. I don't know if it was on a text chain or on the air here, but as soon as Rivers got fired, it was like Philly. It seemed to make too much sense. And apparently everybody on the planet had the same exact idea at the same time. And I mean, I think he had the job like minutes later. I mean, that was just bing, bang, boom. You want to coach? Yes, done.
He hung up one phone. And
so much for that year off.
It literally was like, that's cool. Fired, huh? Okay, hold on. You know, boom.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, I can put you on hold for a second. I got to take this Sixers job.
Yeah. So that was obvious, I thought. And I actually think it's a pretty good fit there. You don't think so?
So they were going after D'Antoni. I'm a noted Mike D'Antoni fan. I like the way he works with the wings, like a Ben McLemore in Houston. I love what those Houston teams did, even though they were much maligned, even though they had some disappointing finishes in the West Finals. I thought he did something special there with a team that didn't have a ton around its star. So I think that's exactly what Philadelphia needed, more of a modern, wing-oriented offense, spread the floor out around Simmons. But Doc, has Doc innovated much over the last decade? Has he shooken up a situation? All I can remember in LA is him signing Glenn Davis and all these old school guys and running such an old school system. That's what we see in Philadelphia already. Too big, too slow pace in the half court, not enough shooting. I don't know if Doc can shake that up with what they have if they don't shake it up via trade. And we already know their GM limitations.
What's interesting to me is, I want to get, just wait, let's get your thoughts first.
Yeah, no, I agree with Bobby. I don't know if D'Antoni would have been the guy to fix things, but this is a tough one because, Philadelphia, obviously Joel Embiid, I like the dynamics of maybe that relationship blossoming into something special, maybe someone that Joel Embiid needs at this point in his career. But for the rest of the team, and in terms of fixing that offense and what's going on there, I mean, can he get Ben Simmons to shoot? What sort of offense is he going to run with someone like Joel Embiid in there? Is he able to fix that? Is someone like Doc Rivers, does he connect with these younger players? I don't know. That's something that I've been asking myself for the last 3 or 4 years when I look at the teams that he had in LA, and you're like, what happened there? What was going on? Now, because of what happened, does that motivate him? Does that make him, snap out of it? Does that make him more focused? Is Doc as motivated as he used to be? Obviously, he's not as motivated as the guy who was chasing his first championship. But sometimes I just wonder, is his heart still truly in it? And this is a really tough situation in terms of pressure and high expectations. This isn't like the New Orleans Pelicans, who I thought that could have been a possibility, maybe a better chance for him to sort of, gradually work his way up and really mold a team from the bottom, or at least they're not at the bottom, but almost there, or at least a playoff team. So I don't know. It's a tough situation. Again, let's remember, guys, prior to the Clippers situation, this was a guy who was considering taking a few years off and just sort of stepping away from coaching because it was a lot. This was 7 years ago. All this traveling, how much of that has changed? And if this thing doesn't work out in 1 or 2 years, I don't know, guys. I mean, how long does Philly give Doc here? I know it's a 5-year deal, but I mean, do they shake things up completely? Is Doc the coach moving forward no matter what? It's just a lot of question marks.
They gave him a big deal.
But I just like it because, like I said, I think NBA coaching is overrated at times, okay? And I think Doc is one of those relationship coaches where, generally speaking, he's got fairly peaceful locker rooms. He always has respect of players, okay, because he's the ex-player sort of thing. I think that's what Philly needs more than somebody to tell them you go here and you go here. I think they need to kind of get along better and just play in a bit more of a harmonious way. I think Doc commands the room to a degree. That's more why I think it works. It's not because I hate system coaches. I hate D'Antoni. I hate those coaches.
Hey, you almost beat the Warriors twice. John, no, that's not a small thing.
Bobby, he's got so mad.
I'm not a system. I don't like in any sport a guy saying, I play this system regardless of
that explains your Brad hate.
You will learn my way and do it this way, even if I don't have the bodies here. You coach what you've got. You coach the situation. You coach the people. You coach the talent. And you coach everybody differently, okay? And that's the coach that I prefer. I do agree. Doc's not Mr. X's and O's strategist guy. I mean, Jesus, even before the Celtics won the title, the knock on Doc in those teams before was he was going down to Orlando to watch his kids play and golf every weekend and canceling practice and giving excuses to the media like, oh, they've worked hard enough. It's like, no, you just want to go. You just want to get out of town. Like Doc's never been one of those like, I'm going to fall asleep at my desk looking at film and stuff like that sort of coaches. It's not his thing. But,
so, I mean, what are you going to get here? You're going to have a lot of Embiid post-ups. You're going to have Simmons running his pace. It's going to be the same thing, more or less.
Yeah,
I don't see the room for improvement.
That falls on brand.
He has to get Simmons a shot.
Oh, great. It falls on brand.
Or first off, you should have probably fired Brand, brought in a GM to decide to hire Doc or someone else. But now I think you're just going to roll with it. I think what they've decided is we're not gonna move Simmons or Embiid. We're gonna make this thing work. We need to
run it back.
These guys figure out how to play together.
Yeah, John, you literally cut me off from the points, people making points, and then took all my points. I agree with you completely. I think Doc was brought in because what happened when the Sixers got smoked by the Celtics? Everyone said it's not working between Embiid and Simmons. Obviously, we knew Brett Brown was getting fired, but they have to get rid of one or the other. They can't keep both. Who should they keep? And then everyone's saying, "Oh, they should keep this person." They should. It's like, no. First of all, you can't trade either one of those guys right now because you're trading from not from a position of power, and you have to at least make every intention to make this thing work. And I think Doc Rivers is that type of coach. He's not worked with, but he's coached so many superstars in this league. And like John said, he's, for the most part, I mean, listen, you're dealing with divas and you're dealing with superstars. Heads are, people are going to collide here and there, but generally speaking, they get along. They play well together. They're not winning championships, but Josue, I disagree with you in the sense that, Doc doesn't feel like he has anything to prove. I actually think he feels he has a ton to prove now because of the difficulties he's had coaching.
No, I didn't say not to prove it. I'm like, is his heart still in it though? Is he as passionate? You see the same Doc that we saw in Boston.
I don't think you can fake it in Philly. I think you have to have the passion. You have to have the fire. And I think he does want to say, hey, I was able to make this work when nobody, when they were wanting to blow up the team or trade this guy, I was able to make this work. The talent's there. It's just a matter of getting these guys to play together. Right. He's got some depth. Al Horford could, maybe come back to life a little bit and help him out.
Oh, I forgot about him. Oh, good luck, Doc.
It's not going to be easy, but I think it's
turn
great
around.
for the Celtics.
He's right there, Horford.
I also think it's great for the Celtics-Sixers rivalry. I mean, a little Celtics-Sixers rivalry right there that, another level now.
At the very least, I'm just happy we have Doc back in our lives in a little bit
That's
more.
That's going to be great, yeah. And that's it to some degree, too. You talk about him, maybe I want to retire, something like that. That's what gets you a 4-year deal when you're as big of a name as him. That, all right, maybe I won't coach. Maybe you won't have the opportunity to pick me right now, Philadelphia. So they jump on and make a more aggressive offer. And now all of a sudden, Doc's going to be getting paid by 2 teams for 2 years. So go, Doc.
Yeah.
Also, I'm excited to see what happens between him and Ben Simmons. I think I'm getting flashbacks of, when Rondo was just so scared to even take a jump shot wide open. Remember those days, guys? Like, I think something between him and Doc was able to sort of make things click or at least build that sort of confidence. I think, again, to your point, John, he's that kind of coach. He can build that sort of confidence, that one-on-one relationship. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what happens with him and Ben Simmons.
So he might be able to get a couple of veterans.
Sorry, go ahead, Jimmy.
I was going to say, Doc's a coach that I think players like and like to play for, and maybe he's able to recruit a couple of guys that can sort of come in and fill those bench roles and maybe be a positive influence on a Simmons or an Embiid. But I think it's a personality. I think it's more of a listen. We know these guys are talented and capable of, but it's more of a mental thing, getting them to mesh and gel and maybe become more professional.
On that point too. He coached Tobias Harris, which is easy to forget, and Harris was outstanding on the Clippers, so that might be part of the thinking here too.
Good point.
So, Doc's back. We're happy to have him to a degree. We get to see. I think it spices up the Celtics-Sixers rivalry, so maybe a lot of my.
That's great. He needed to be in the league. That's not a guy that could be out of the league, especially at this time right now.
Yeah, and right. There's a lot of good reasons for Doc to be in the league too. And we have a bias because he was an amazing coach to cover. I loved going to Waltham, going to games, listening to Doc. He just, as a media member, he knows your name. He makes you feel good about yourself. Like he's just a good
now we know what John said.
He's a great guy to be around.
He's a great guy. He's just a great guy.
These are job-saving performances, that his ability to do this kept him alive in Boston and allowed him to coach that 2008 team, which is his legacy. You know, he was a goner, but he was so good with the media and so affable that he just stuck around.
Yeah, every time I see Doc, like if you greet him, he's the kind of guy, he'll greet you back as if he knows you. And I'm like, Doc, you don't know me, man. You don't have to pretend like, you know, it's like hey, what's up, man? It's like, oh man, we never met before.
Yeah.
And that's why he gets a free ride in the media a lot. And he's got us all. Point. He got us mesmerized a little bit, so he probably gets a little more credit than he deserves.
Yeah, especially in Boston, right?
Especially in Boston, but still, happy that he's still in the league. Happy the Celtics get to play him. You know, and I think it just adds a little flavor and spice to the rivalry.
He's making his way back towards Boston.
A little bit, right?
Who knows what's going to happen next? How his success goes in Philly, how Brad finishes out his run.
Yeah. Before we sign off, again, I just want to tell everybody at home, segment is presented by CarShield, America's #1 auto protection company. Call 800-CAR-6000. Mention the code.
Garden.
Thank you, Garden. Visit carshield.com. Use the code GARDEN to save 10%. Guys, it was good. It's fun hanging out. We did it again.
It's good to be back.
We got a couple more of these this week, so we'll keep them coming. Celtics rumors. Who knows what's out there? We've talked about Gordon Hayward. We've talked about Marcus Smart. We'll see. It's going to start really picking up fast and furious, certainly right after the NBA Finals end. We'll talk about the NBA Finals.
Draft, November 18th, set in stone now.
Bobby, I'm counting on you for that because
me too. I don't touch the draft.
Okay.
Hey guys, did you guys do mock drafts?
Syracuse is Elijah Hughes. Bank on it.
Bobby, we're counting on you, buddy. So start.
Hey, I'll also say subscribe to the Garden Report
board.
Audio version. It's on iTunes, Stitcher, all those different places as well. You can listen to us in the car.
Yep, that's coming right out. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Garden Report. Josue Pavon from Heavy.com covering the Celtics, bringing you written coverage throughout the offseason and into next season. Jimmy Toscano, Bobby Manning, CLNS Media and Celtics blog. We will see you guys